So what I'm doing now is I didn't do this in the beginning. I would add pockets and other things to a page wherever I want it, but now I make sure that if I have a pocket on this page, I will also make sure I have something on the other side, and I will leave 1 or 2 pages free with nothing, because if you want to write on here, there's no obstruction. But if you're going to write on here, you will feel the difference in height in here. So I'm getting this journal here. So what I'm doing now is I have a piece of cardboard that I put a nice piece of paper on that I will place behind my page, fold it over, and I can write. And this is the size for this journal, and I will make one for this journal that is the size so that it fits in with the journal. And so that's why I put pockets and everything on both sides of a page, of a piece of paper. So let's see where I want my pockets. All the paper clips will tell me where my pockets are. Now this is my first page of the signature, and I haven't mentioned this, but this will be stitched inside a cover like I have over here. And this is my first page. Started writing right away. I thought I was going to have a nice page as my first paper that you see when you open a journal. Now I've decided to put a pocket only on this side, and I will have pockets over here, and we'll go through it. I'm going to make simple pockets, like I said, and I have some measurements over here. So for this one, I'm going to use probably 1¾ inches. I have the option of 1½ to 2 inches wide. If you make it wider, you will have more problem of putting something in. Let's concentrate on this one. Now this is a pretty paper. So I showed you all my papers before. If you don't have pretty paper, you can use regular copy paper. You can coffee dye it, tea dye it, put some watercolor on, and if it's thin, I would suggest, which what I'm doing with here, I'm going to go with a book page, because all the papers I have here are way too busy to add to this. Now, this could work, but what I like is to have it folded over and then sew it in here. Then it's a little bit sturdier. And I'm going to fold this in half, like so. And what did I say? 1¾ So I will cut this 1¾ wide. I have my hole punch here so that I know where to be when I'm in frame, because I tend to move out of frame. Okay, 1¾ Save the strips. And the height. And I will probably put my script upside down. I have no idea what this is all about, but I don't need to know. 8¼ 8¼ 8¼ lining up. All right, let's keep it like this. And I will be sewing this in, so I will paper clip this here. Okay, so when we are sewing in our pockets, I like to use a little room by folding a piece of paper in half and in half again. And then I will start sewing, and when I'm here I will put this in, and then I will sew and stitch the rest. I saw this trick on YouTube by LeAnn from Bird's Nest Books, and it helps to make the pocket a little wider so that you have more room to put something in. Just a quick tip for you. So I'm going to paper clip this here, and I have now also made a habit out of doing everything duplicate on the other side. making sure that the fold is on this side. What I also like to do is, if I'm working on this paper, on this page, I'll place this aside, take the paper out, and then place this on an angle on top of my journal so that I know where my paper goes, otherwise I will get mixed up. Now we're going to do the double pocket on the side. Now I gotta check. And we'll be using 2.5 inch wide by the length plus 1/8. And I will be placing this close to the fold. I should distinguish the fold a bit more. I could even make a line here. You're not going to see this because I will be stitching this in, but now I know where to go. So what shall we use? I'm going to use this one. So what I also did was, this was a regular piece of copy paper. It's quite thin, but if you add a thin layer of acrylic paint is basically a plastic. So you strengthen the paper and you make it a little sturdier. So I'm going to use this. And I will be cutting 4 because I will do one here and on the opposite side, but I will also do them on the reverse side of the paper. So I will be making 4 of those pockets. And 2.5. So I'm going to 5. Back to 2.5. And what I did here was I put some acrylic paint on my paper and used my credit card and scraped it across the page. And you get a nice thin layer and, you know, looks nice. Just give it a try. Now also, I wouldn't mind having some holes. And I'll fold this in half. And fold it in half. How about this? Now, I like to angle the little sides here. This is a point. A lot of things get caught behind it. So I'll just angle this a little bit. Okay, and I will be putting them in here. Doesn't have to be precise, I'll get to it later. We're placing this back in our journal. And don't forget what is the front and what is the back. Okay, see, this is the front. Oh, I added this later. This is one of those papers where you can put your flight information and everything on. And I thought that was quite appropriate for a traveler's journal. Okay, now this one will get one along the bottom. Now this is a smaller page, so I will just have to measure this, add a little bit, and because this is a shorter page, I'm probably going to put it more towards the top, because then the bulk is over here. Otherwise, all the bulk will be over here from the bottom pockets. And maybe I will do a 1.5 inch this time. And you know what? I find cardstock to be quite thick, so I'll be looking for some papers.